Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today's video is going to be all about my Colourpop must-haves. I get so many questions on my favorite products, my favorite colors, so I thought I would wrap it up into one video and share my favorite eye products, my favorite lip products, and my favorite face products with you guys. It's hard to know where to start because they have so many products, so many finishes, so many colors, so I thought I would help you guys out, or at least try to be helpful, and narrow it down to my top favorites. So that way if you have like a similar makeup interest to me, or you see swatches that you like, because I'll swatch everything, it will kind of help you decide where to start. But I definitely want to hear from you guys, so make sure you let me know in the comments below what your favorite Colourpop products are. Everything that I'm going to mention is available on the website. I have a lot of limited edition products because they discontinue products all the time, and sometimes they bring them back, but I just wanted to share products that are available on the website right now in case you guys wanted to get your hands on them. Okay, let's jump into it. I will chat about all of my favorite categories and all of my favorite products, and then while I'm talking, I'll show you guys some swatches and some close-ups of my favorite colors. So that way I'm not trying to describe all of the colors on camera for you. That way it saves some time, and honestly, I'm not great with descriptions, so I'll put a list in the description box below of all of the colors that I mentioned, as well as the description on Colourpop's website. That way you guys have it for reference. Okay, let's start with the Super Shock shadows. So these were kind of like the product that put Colourpop on the map. They were the first product that I ever tried from them, and I love them. I have a huge collection of them. I'm thinking about doing like an updated collection and swatch video. If you guys want to see that, just let me know in the comments below. But they're great. They're available as single shadows, and they come in a variety of finishes. My favorite are probably like the ultra metallic, the pearlized, and then my least favorite is definitely the matte finish. I know a lot of people really like the matte shadows, but in my opinion, they just don't blend as well on the eyes. I only wear the Super Shock shadows on the lid. I don't wear them in the crease as a transition color in the outer corner. Sometimes I'll wear them as like an inner corner highlight or a brow bone highlight, but I haven't had a lot of luck with them in the crease. I've tried so many times, but now that Colourpop makes pressed powder shadows that blend beautifully, I've kind of given up on that. But I will say a lot of people like wearing them in the crease. It's just totally personal preference, but I love wearing them all over the lid as like a pop of color. They apply best with a finger, in my opinion. You can get a really intense color payoff if you use your finger and just apply them, but you can also use a synthetic brush. Colourpop used to have brushes on the website, but I haven't seen them, so hopefully they will bring them back eventually. But really any like flat lid synthetic brush in your collection will work, or like a fluffy synthetic crease brush if you want to use it in your crease as well. So they do last all day on the eyes for me. I think part of the reason is because I don't wear them in the crease. I know some people have trouble with them creasing, but I just wear them all over the lid and they last and they stay in place. I always prime my eyes with an eyeshadow primer and then set the primer with a powder shadow, and then I'll go in and apply this all over the lid. Because they are a creamy texture, they will dry out on you if you don't close them. So make sure to close the lid really tightly. Don't leave them open on your vanity while you're using them or after you're using them, and just make sure to like lock it in really tightly. I've only ever had one of them dry out on me, and it was a matte shadow, and I don't know if I closed the lid really tightly because I really haven't had any of the rest of them dry out, and I've had them for a while. So I absolutely recommend them. I think they perform beautifully, they stay in place, and they just add a really fun pop on your eyes. Okay, so moving on to the pressed powder shadows. These are a newer release, and I have to admit, when I heard that Colourpop was coming out with pressed powder shadows, I wasn't really that excited. I didn't think that I was going to try them because I love their Super Shock shadows, and I felt like they were so unique with these shadows. I didn't get why they had to do pressed powder shadows as well, but I've totally changed my mind. The second that I tried them, they just impressed me. They are my favorite pressed powder formula ever. They're better than higher end shadows. They're better than drugstore shadows. They're just really great quality in my opinion. They're very pigmented. The thing that I like the most is that they are super blendable. The matte shadows are gorgeous, and because I didn't have a lot of luck with the matte Super Shock shadows, I feel like I really fell in love with their pressed powder shadows, especially the matte ones. The metallic shades are beautiful as well. I really have no complaints with them. The only thing that I can think of is that when you put your brush in, it does kick up a little bit of powder, but I feel like all of my good shadows do that. So I don't have any complaints. I haven't really found any that are like a dud. I love all of them. So these shadows are available as singles, and I kind of created my go-to palette. This is a MAC palette, but all of the shadows in the palette are from Colourpop. So I just kind of put all of my favorites in one palette. I'll switch them out occasionally. Like if I find I'm not using a color, I'll put something else in here. But recently this has been like my go-to palette. I have mattes and shimmers. I have some good lid shades, some good transition colors, a ton of crease colors, and then I also have some great metallics that I love to use all over the lid. So I definitely recommend all of these shadows. You really can't can't go wrong with any of them. This is like my go-to palette. I reach for it like over any palette that I have in my collection. You can actually buy eyeshadow palettes as well. So sometimes they run a deal where if you buy 4 singles, you'll get an empty palette, but they also do make palettes. So whenever there is a new collection or a new release, a lot of times they'll come out with a palette that comes with 4 shadows. The nice part about this is that all of the shadows usually seem to flow together really well, but you do get a discount. So usually the palette retails for $18. If you were to buy 4 single shadows separately, it'd be $20. So for $2 off, you get the palette and then you also get the 4 shadows. So you save a little bit of money, but sometimes they don't sell the shadows in the palette as singles. So if you want any of these colors, you have to buy the whole palette. So this is one of my favorites, and I definitely recommend it if you go for a more natural, neutral look on an everyday basis. It was part of their sand collection, and it comes with 4 really beautiful colors. So the first 2 shades can be used all over the lid, as highlights in the inner corner or the brow bone. And the second 2 shades, for me, I love to use them as transitions or crease colors or all over the outer corner. Sometimes I'll apply them all over the lid if I want more of a dramatic color, but it really is like a foolproof palette in my opinion, because you can get a like really natural look out of it, or you can kind of darken it up with the brown shades. But I love that it's neutral, it's warm, and it's so easy to use. So this might be a great option for you. And then my other 2 favorites are somewhat new releases, but I feel like they are so beautiful. They've quickly become staples in my collection, so I would recommend them. I'm not sure if they're limited edition, but they were part of a collab, so they might be. The first one is the Cheeky palette, could be Cheeky palette, I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of similar to the one that I just showed you guys, but it's a little bit more intense. So if you want more of a metallic shade, this is a great option, or if you want a little bit more, like if you want deeper browns, this might be a better option for you. The other one that I showed you is a little bit more natural, and this one's a little bit more intense, but the shadows are still like neutral colors that you can wear on an everyday basis. But they're very blendable, super pigmented, and I always reach for them. I think my absolute favorite might be the Saucy palette, just because it comes with some beautiful colors. If you are a fan of color, definitely grab this one. The only one in this palette that doesn't really perform that well is the shade Heavy Glam, which is like this coral shade right here. I am wearing it on like the center of my lid because I wanted to amp it up a little bit, but it's not as impressive as some of their other metallic shadows. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that one. Other than that, the other 3 shadows are gorgeous. They perform really well, and they can create a gorgeous look when you use them all together. Or of course you can use them on their own, but the shadows in this palette and the Cheeky palette are not available as singles. So if you want these, definitely grab the actual palette, and they're so good. I really don't think you'll be disappointed if you try them. Okay, so other than eyeshadows, the only other eye products they sell are eyeliners. They have cream gel liners that come in the pencil form, and then they also sell eyeliner in the pot form. I personally don't use the pot form. I feel like I can't figure it out. Not just Colourpop, but like any pot form, it just doesn't work well for me. So I definitely recommend the cream gel liners. They have a bunch of colors, and no matter what you're looking for, you're going to be able to find something that works for you. But I personally love the metallic liners. There's something about this formula that's so much more creamy and pigmented than their other liners. The other liners are good, but they have a tendency to kind of break off on me when I'm applying them to my waterline, and these are very pigmented and smooth and blendable. So they look really beautiful all over the waterline. These are the only eyeliners that in general I'll wear on my waterline unless I'm looking for like a pop of color. They kind of add like a little something extra. They don't break off, but you have to be careful when you're applying them not to kind of smear them all over the place. Once they're in place, I don't have any problem with them moving around. It's just when you're actually applying them. So if you're buying these to wear like on your upper lash line, just be careful when you're applying them that you don't push too hard because they are super creamy, but I think they are a great option for the waterline. Okay, let's move on to lip products. They have a ton of lip products on their website. They have so many categories, so no matter what you're looking for, you're going to be able to find something that works for you. I'm going to talk about my favorites. The products that I'm not talking about in this video are the ultra metallic lips, because I just don't like those. Those are my least favorite formula they make, and I do have a lip swatch video on them if you guys want to check it out. I'll link it in the description box below in case you're interested, but those are my least favorite. And then I'm not going to talk about the ultra glossy lips because I feel like they're not my favorite lip gloss formula. They're really good and they have some great options, but I don't really have any like standout products from that category. And then the ultra blotted lips and the blotted lips are new new to me. I'm still kind of testing them out, so I didn't really have any favorites in that category as well. But the other four I use every single day. They're like my go-to lip products out of any brand, so I thought I would go ahead and share my favorites with you. Okay, let's start with the lippy sticks. So these are kind of like a traditional lipstick formula, or the closest thing that they have on the website to a traditional lipstick formula. They come in a stick form, so I feel like they're a little bit easier to apply than a traditional lipstick because you get a more precise application, and they have a variety of colors and finishes on the website. So these retail for $5, which is a great deal. I think they come with a little bit less product than a traditional lipstick, but they will still last you a really long time because you just need a small amount to get a really pigmented look. They have a variety of finishes. I don't know if I already said that, but they have like matte, matte X, cream, glossy, sheer. So no matter what you're looking for, they're going to have something that works for you. My personal favorite is the matte finish, just because it does give you a slightly kind of like a semi-matte finish, but it stays in place really well for a regular lipstick formula. I also really like the matte X finish because that one will dry down to like a completely matte formula, but it's a little bit more comfortable than some of their other matte lip products on the website. So I only have 4 favorites that I would share with you. They're kind of like nude or pink nude colors. They do have some really beautiful bold colors, but all of the ones that I love have been discontinued. So I would say if you're going for like a super bold color, go for the matte X formula because it will stay in place. It won't get all over your teeth and it won't smear. But if you want more of a nude or a neutral color, the matte or the glossy or even the sheer or cream finish is going to work really well for you. So if you want a liquid lipstick that is going to stay in place all day long, definitely go with their ultra matte lips. Now I will say they are uncomfortable on the lips. I can't even like pretend that they are comfortable because they are not comfortable at all. But sometimes I'm willing to sacrifice comfort for longevity. So if you have like a long day, or you know, you don't want to worry about getting like a super bold color on your teeth or it moving around, the ultra matte formula is going to be ideal for you. They have improved it since the beginning. So if you guys tried it when they first came out, it might be, you know, a good idea to try it again if you're interested because it is a little bit different. I won't say it's like a whole lot more comfortable, but they don't necessarily flake off and they do last really well. So some of my favorites, I usually reach for the nude shades in Midi, which is a beautiful light pink, Trap, which is a little bit more cool toned, and Bianca, which is a little bit deeper. These are like my go-to nudes when it comes to any lipstick brand, any lipstick formula. Creeper is the prettiest red. It's just such a classic go-to blue toned red, and I definitely recommend it. And then More Better is one of my favorite colors for the fall and the winter time. Now, if you want a liquid lipstick, but you want it to feel a little bit more comfortable on the lips, I would recommend the Ultra Satin formula. These stay in place really well. They stay in place pretty much as long as the Ultra Matte formula, but they're a little bit more comfortable. I wouldn't call them completely transfer proof, but they're not going to move around when they're on the lips. If you eat or drink, they might come off a little bit, but they're still like a long-lasting liquid lipstick formula, just a little bit more comfortable. So if you're looking to try one of those, Dopey is my favorite color. It is a beautiful pink nude and it looks so pretty on so many people. I also like the shade Strip, which is one of their newer shades. It's a beautiful nude. It's my favorite color. I feel like it's almost replaced the Ultra Matte lips. Those are like my favorite nudes ever, but this one looks so pretty on the lips. And then Molly is like a fun, cool toned purple that I love wearing if I want something a little bit unique. So I love their liquid lipsticks. I know some people are kind of on the fence about them, but they're only $6. So I definitely feel like they're worth checking out, at least trying like one color and seeing if it works well for you. Because if it does, then you have like a ton of colors to choose from. They're very affordable and they're always coming out with new shades. So Colourpop actually makes my favorite lip liner formula, and I did not know that I was so like picky about lip liners until I was pretty much using these exclusively, and then I tried to use something else and nothing really cut it. I liked these so much better. They are just smooth and creamy and blendable, and they glide on the lips so effortlessly, but they actually stay in place really well. The formula, like when you first apply it, it doesn't feel like a formula that's going to stay in place or lock your lip color into place, but it really does work. The nice part is that they do have coordinating shades, so if you buy one of their lippy sticks or one of their liquid lipsticks, you can usually find a shade that matches either exactly or almost exactly to go along with it. And even if I'm not wearing a Colourpop lippy stick or lippy Ultra, even if I'm not wearing a Colourpop lip product, I'll still reach for these and wear them under any of the other lip products that I'm wearing because they are so good. These are just my favorite shades because they're like nudes and pinks and I always reach for them, but if I move, I don't know if you guys know, I keep like some of my essentials right behind my head, and I have a ton of Colourpop eyeliners and what are these called? Lippy pencils. I always mix these up and they're lippy sticks up. I have a ton of Colourpop eyeliners and lippy pencils right back there, like every single color that you could basically imagine. So that way, if I am wearing any other color, I'll have something to reach for, but these are kind of like good go-to staple colors. Okay, finishing up with face products, I do only have a couple of things that I want to talk about because I feel like the face product category is my least favorite. I always love their shadows and their lip products, but I do have a lot of other like blushes, bronzers, and highlighters that I reach for over Colourpop products. Whereas Colourpop is kind of like my go-to when it comes to lip products and eye products. So they do have Super Shock cheek products, which come in the pot form like this. These are really similar to their Super Shock eyeshadows. They're pretty much the same formula. I don't know if they're really different at all. I feel like these are slightly drier and they do have a tendency to dry out on me, so just be careful when you're using them. But if you are a fan of the Super Shock eyeshadow formula or just like a cream product in general, these might work really well for you. I think I like the highlighters better than the blushes, and they only have like 1 or 2 bronzers on the website. I don't even know if they still have them, but I've recently just come to terms with the fact that I'm not a huge fan of cream products when it comes to blushes, highlighters, or bronzers, so I really haven't purchased a lot of them lately. I definitely prefer their powder formula. But if you are a fan of cream formulas, you're really going to like these because they have some beautiful colors. They're really affordable. They're $8 each and they will last you forever. What I like about these is that they apply really beautifully on top of powder. A lot of times cream products don't work well with powder products if you apply them on top of a powder product, but these actually go on really nicely. They're blendable and smooth and they look really gorgeous and they stay in place really well. So I would definitely recommend them. Now I will say I bought most of these products before they came out with their pressed powder duos. So these are actually fairly new to the collection. They don't have a bunch of choices on the website because they just created them when they created the pressed powder shadows, which wasn't too long ago. But ever since they came out with them, I love them. I prefer them over the Super Shock cheek formula just because it is a traditional powder formula and that's what I always go to when it comes to my makeup. So I liked these because I didn't know any better, but now that they have the pressed powder formula, I definitely prefer this. I feel like it is a traditional powder formula, so it goes on like a powder, but you get the pigmentation of the Super Shock cheeks. I think that's one of the reasons I really like these products is because they're very pigmented and it's hard to get that pigmentation with a powder, but I feel like they kind of took the pigmentation of the Super Shock cheek and put it in a powder formula. This one was part of the Sand collection, so it comes with a really beautiful blush or bronzer depending on your skin tone and a gorgeous peach toned highlight. This is like my favorite highlighter of all time. And then I also really like the pink version as well. The pink blush is a little bit bright for me, but the formula is so good and this highlighter is so beautiful. So I would definitely recommend their pressed powder duos. I think they retail for around, I want to say $16, but I'll link them in the description box below. I think if you are a powder fan, you're definitely going to like these. I mean, if you like cream products, don't get me wrong, the Super Shock cheek formula, highlighters, and blushes are really great, but I really like the pressed powder formula. Okay guys, that's all I have to share with you today. I hope this video was helpful if you're trying to decide what to grab from the website because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, but I definitely want to hear from you. So make sure you let me know in the comments below about your favorite products, your favorite finishes, just anything having to do with Colourpop because I would love to check out the products that you love as well. And then that way, if somebody, you know, has different preferences when it comes to makeup, they can read your comments and maybe something will work for them as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.